All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to be looking at Colonial America. Colonial America would be America before 1776, and it would be specifically in the 1500s and the 1600s for what we are going to be talking about today. Okay, so let's get moving and title your notes Colonial America. Now, what might be the four main reasons why people came to the New World? Four main reasons why people came to the New World. They begin with a P, an E, another E, and an R. All right, if you want to take a guess, that'd be great. You can jot them down. If you do take a guess and jot them down, make sure you separate them from your real notes, and you can circle the answers that you are guessing and label it my guess so you can avoid further confusion in the future when you're studying. Okay? So here are the four main reasons why people came into the New World, starting on the next slide. Political, exploratory, economics or economical, and religion. So political reasons, exploratory reasons, exploration, economics, they were doing it for money, that's what that means, money, jobs, things like that, and religious reasons for church and for God. All right, so we're going to be looking at this in the next few slides. So let's look at our political reasons, but first you need to do something. For each of the four categories below, write a specific reason why people may have decided to move to the New World. Yep, you have to guess one political reason why, one exploration reason why, one economic reason why, and one religious reason why. Again, put your answer in your notes and circle them so I can see that you actually are doing it, and label it my guess. That way it's not going to be confusing for you when you decide to study. And it's not really a decision. You will study, right? I sure hope so. All right, so let's find out some good fun stuff here. Hopefully you're deciding, and we'll talk about those in class. Now, politically, there are three countries that we're going to be looking at real quick. All right, three countries that had a chance to get some of North America. All right, and the first one is Spain. All right, Spain was a very powerful country. All right, maybe you don't think that right now, but they were. Spain was very influential in the military, and they were also very influential with the exploration of the world. All right, the man Christopher Columbus is, one of their major explorers, and even though he was Italian, he sailed underneath the flag of Spain in politics. All right, so he did it for the Queen of Spain. And Columbus, he was committed. He wanted to find a western route to the Orient, or maybe like China, all right, and India and things like that. All right, they called it the Orient back then. We still do, but not as much. And he wanted to find a western route by sea for Spain. All right, so he's trying to travel around the world, and by doing that, hoping to get to China, basically. All right, Asia. And he never really makes it. He thought he did, and he thought he landed in India, but that's why he called the Native Americans who lived here, who he discovered, he called them Indians, even though they were not from India. Now, these individuals that he discovered were actually on an island, and that island is not in, well, it is North America, but so it's not the North America that you know of, like the United States. It's one of the islands, okay? But you don't need to really worry about that. The other reason why Spain was so politically powerful. All right, the Pope at the time of the Catholic Church was Spanish, and he decided to take influence from the Queen of Spain, and he created a line of demarcation, and that line of demarcation was called the Treaty of Tordesillas. Treaty of Tordesillas. I know it looks like Silas, but it's Tordesillas, and and Spain was influencing the Pope at the time, and had him declare all lands west of the 38th degree longitude to go to Spain. All right. And Portugal, who was another powerful country with exploration, they would get all of the land east of that line. And basically all they got was a part of Brazil. And that's why today Brazil still speaks Portuguese, basically. All right. Their language derives from Portuguese. And our third reason why Spain was so powerful is in 1588, well, maybe this is not, before 1588, they were very powerful with their navy, and the navy was called the Spanish Armada. And in 1588, they fought and actually lost. So this is when they stopped being so powerful. And the Spanish Armada fought England for control over North America. They traveled on up to the English Channel, and they were about to attack England, and England was there. England was not Catholic, so they did not follow the Catholic Pope. All right, they were Protestant. They followed the Church of England, and when Spain lost, people said that God preferred Protestants over Catholics. All right, they actually lost because a hurricane came in and blew them to bits, basically. And people were saying that God preferred England because they were Protestant. They were not Catholic. And they gave thanks to the Protestant wind that helped them win against Spain, a much more superior navy over England. But England does win. All right, France. France wanted to gain control of North America. They wanted to Canada, and they wanted all the land west of the Mississippi River, and they got it. All right. The French politically were very, very smart. They knew how to respectfully deal with the Native Americans, and they were fur traders, and they developed a really great relationship with them. All right, and they were that lasted for years. All right, so good stuff there. England was our third country. All right, so we've gone through Spain, we've gone through France, and now we're going through England. All right, England, and you have to remember they defeated the Spanish Armada in 1588, and there are some important reasons why this is so influential, so important, why that victory is helping England get North America. Okay, so I want you to take a guess and write it in your notes, and again, circle your response and label it my guess. That way you know that it is your guess and not your true answers for the notes. All right, so as we have just asked you, or I've just asked you, the Spanish Armada and England, that battle, and there might be some reasons why it was so important to England. All right, the big influence here. There are 4 big reasons why the defeat of the Spanish Armada in 1588 is important for England politically. All right, England gets control of North America. Now, they still have to share it with France, and England is controlling the Atlantic Ocean pretty much to the Mississippi River and parts of Canada, but very, very minimal parts of Canada at the time. England, because of this gaining of control of North America for the East Coast parts, the people who live in England, they become unified. All right, they feel that they are strong. They believe that they are under a very, very popular leader, very, very influential leader, very powerful leader. And again, as I said before, they think that God is on their side. They have religious unity as they believe in God, and they believe that God wants them to find this land. So it gives them a sense of nationalism. Basically, that they are destined to be a great nation. And that might explain why they call themselves Great Britain. All right, Great Britain is England, and they are feeling this sense of pride, the sense of nationalism, because of the control that they have gained through this defeat of the Spanish Armada. All right, as we are about to slow down here, we're going to have four more slides, and we're going to look at the exploratory reasons why people came to North America. The main reason was they wanted to find that Northwest Passage to get to the Orient, remember that, to Asia, to China. And the main reason was for the spices, tea, and just different spices that they found over in China, and they were able to trade. The other reason was to gain wealth from trade and establish a business over in the East, which is also known as Asia, China, the Orient, and be able to trade back and forth to Europe. The other reason why people decided to explore the New World, or just explore in general, was a process known as primogeniture. All right, primogeniture means first, primo, genitor, generation, first generation. So the firstborn sons of a family, they would inherit the land from the father. All right, when the father passed away, they would gain the land. However, while the father was still alive, the younger sons, the second, third, fourth, they would all know that they weren't going to get the land, that the oldest brother was going to get the land. So those younger sons, when they're in their 20s, let's say, they decide to start going out and explore. And they do so with their father's wealth while he's still alive, so they gain some money, and they do it in the name of their father or the ruler of their country. So that's how they would get around and gain wealth and popularity. In fact, Prince Henry the Navigator was like the third son under his father, obviously. And so but we know him, we've heard of his name, Prince Henry the Navigator, but we have never heard, historically we could find out who his brothers were, but we really don't know. It's not on the tip of our tongues. Okay? Economic reasons why people decided to go to the New World. The Crusades. The Crusades introduced a new way of living. All right? The Crusades is what made the desire to have those spices. All right, so that's an economic reason, but I said an exploratory as well, the idea of creating your own business. So it caused a desire for trade, to live more comfortably, to live in style. All right, we don't think of how they lived back then as in style compared to what individuals live like today, but for them, it was definitely living in style. All right, they wanted to find Europe, to leave Europe, to find gold, silver, and iron. And those individuals were known as the conquistadors. All right, that's mostly the Spanish. All right, and they also fell for get-rich-quick schemes. Believe it or not, people did this back then as well. They would convince people to go to the New World. And they said that there are streets of gold, all right? And so they would go there, and they would do this by trying to, trade raw materials, send them back to Europe, but there was very little to be found in the way of gold right away. And the enclosure movement. Economically, people felt trapped, all right? And the lords, which are known as landlords, or the owners of the land, they would fence in the common ground. around their castle or whatever it is that where they lived, and they would force the commoners to buy new fenced-in areas. All right, so the commoners in the common ground, they had to buy this land. So these individuals were like, forget that, I'm out of here, let me go explore. And then they would become indentured servants for a certain amount of time in the new world. And lastly, the religious reasons why. Some people felt that the new world held the Garden of Eden. All right, and this is kind of strange, but they really felt that they finally found it, and they felt that maybe it was actually being guarded by demons, because these demons that they found, the Native Americans, would pop up anywhere. And so that's one reason why individuals decided to kill off the Native Americans, because they felt that they were demons. All right, the Protestant Reformation. All right, Protestant Reformation is a reason why people decided to move to the New World. And the Protestant Reformation stated that people should individually respond to God, not to the church. All right, and that was not a popular idea, so some people felt that they had to run away and get to the New World. One of those thoughts was the idea of Calvinism. And Calvinism states that God has sovereignty over our souls, and humans are weak and wicked due to our sin nature. And God would choose some, he would elect some to go to heaven, he would elect others to go to hell, and works would not save your soul. Only faith would save your soul. So, how could anyone determine the faith in others? Well, they had to live a holy and clean life. And that's what determined individuals to say, oh, that person must be going to heaven. All right, they must be part of the elect. And our last two reasons, the Puritans, it should be a four. All right, Puritans wanted a bigger separation from the Church of England and the Catholic Pope. And they vowed to purify from within. All right, so they stayed within the Church of England to try and purify it. So we always call the individuals who come to America as Puritans, but in reality, they aren't. They were the separatists. The separatists are the pilgrims. They are the ones who say we need to separate totally from the Church of England. The Church of England is hopeless, and we need to do this, and we need to become an example. And they called this example the city on a hill. And their desire was to convert the people in England from a distance, but in America they would convert Native Americans, the Indians. They thought that there would be less evil in North America, so they wouldn't have to necessarily deal with evil or sinful ways. They would only bring over Puritan type mindset individuals, someone who was already chosen, elect from God. Only they would be allowed into America. That was the original hope. All right, that should be about it for the four big reasons why that people came to America. I hope you enjoyed it today, and hopefully the next time it will be a little bit shorter. Sorry about that.